Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Tuesday. Joe and Jason, and man, we got a lot of ground to cover. I'm just going to tell you right now, buy when the prices are down because they're not going to stay down. And right now, when we have these big volume specials, they go very quickly. The dime special, it's gone. It's gone. And once they're gone, and then you move on. We still got about $120 gold pieces, maybe $125. We'll do the same deal, $23.95, 20 or more, $23.85, 50 or more, $23.75. Take it. Listen, gold's down $17 right now, and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We got a great show lined up for you. 800-951-0592. AllAmericanGold.com is the website. We had bad numbers out of Home Depot. Matter of fact, numbers we haven't seen out of Home Depot going back to the last crash. Home Depot, listen, we know they're give them credit. They are a very well-run company. No doubt about it. They know how to report earnings. Let's just say they know how to play the earnings report game. They missed today and missed badly. Just to give you perspective, I want to say the last time Home Depot missed on an earnings report was like 7 years ago. They actually reported declining sales. Now, come on, hey, that happens. The last time Home Depot reported declining same-store sales, 2009. Right? I mean, you think that's like 14 years ago. Things are getting. We've been saying it. We've been calling this grind downwards. Retail sales came out today. Not even close. They were, most people were hoping for a 1% increase. I want to say consensus was 0.8. It was half of that. 0.4%. And again, not even keeping up with inflation. Not great numbers, really at all today. Wall Street is down heavy. Bitcoin's broken down. Jason, there's a lot of carnage, happening in the marketplace. Vodafone, they're a telecom. They're laying off 11,000, Newell Brands. They're cutting their dividends 70%. We haven't, I haven't really been reporting a lot of these dividend cuts, but they are coming, and it seems like it doesn't matter what industry they're in. Consumer energy, they want to get rid of about 1,700 to 2,000 workers, offering buyouts to 4,900 employees. Tyson Foods, laying off 1,700 people. Jason, we're kind of getting this next level down here in this grinding downwards economy. We've already had Fed Governor Barkin was out today liking the idea, Jason, that they have the ability to pause now.
Well, that's the idea, right? That's where all the information is leading them to. So I know that's the consensus for guys that do the watching this stuff. So I'm not fully on board. I still have this like I said, I have this itch that they just have more information about inflation and that maybe they raise it again. But yeah, the pause is coming. Sooner or later, it's coming. Most likely on the next one. And as far as Home Depot, when I moved into my house that I'm in 2020, there's a Home Depot close by, and it was a pretty busy store, 2020, 2021, kind of going into 2022. But the end of last year and this year, and the gas station, I get the ethanol-free gas. I have to go to this gas station to get to my ethanol, corn-free, keep all that sticky stuff out of your motor. And so I get to monitor the Home Depot if I'm not going in. And you can have your run of the place, Joe. the few times I've been in there, they have the employee powwows going on because there's not work to be done in there, and definitely a slowdown. Definitely a slowdown.
Well, I'll just say this, right? And again, you can thank the Fed, right? You've got, I don't even know, 80, 90% of homeowners that have a mortgage pretty much unable to move, right? Because why would you leave a 3 or 4% mortgage for a 7% mortgage, right? It just, the math doesn't work very well. And so obviously Home Depot, Lowe's, Nike's under pressure today, 3M's under pressure today, a lot of the retail-based stocks under pressure today. But coming up next, we're going to play Bubba Horowitz. And for those of you that know Bubba Horowitz, he's not a gold bug. Matter of fact, I was telling Jason, I probably called this guy an idiot on the air multiple times. I've done it, I can't, countless times off the air. Here's the problem. He's really not an idiot. He's a traitor. And he is right. Like, every time I think, okay, this guy is, okay, nope, he's wrong, not going to happen. I bet you, Jason, he's right as much as I am. Like 50% of the time, I'll be right. The other, he's basically what I'm trying to tell you. The guy's good at what he does. The guy is good at what he does. He had some very strong comments about Wall Street, the fiat money system, central bank digital currencies, the debt ceiling, and oh, by the way, what he thinks interest rates are going to do. You're not going to want to miss it. All of that coming up next. (800-951-0592). Joe and Jason here on this Tuesday. Not a great day for stocks today. Not a great day when you think about retail sales, the big miss. Home Depot, obviously the shocker. I mean, that's the kind of the one on the retail side, right? That's the one retailer everyone really counts on, right? Home Depot is going to deliver. Walmart, Kroger, they have their ups and downs, but those are the big three that need to deliver. Not only did Home Depot not deliver, they are talking about sales declines of 5% plus. That's really, really significant. Remember, Best Buy had a really bad number. So again, we're going to see here, I get the feeling, like Vodafone with those layoffs, all of these companies were hanging on to these workers, and I'm starting to get the feeling that they're going to start letting a lot of these workers go. We're going to see bigger layoffs than what we normally would have had, because these companies probably would have stopped hiring sooner, would have laid off a lot sooner. Hey, we're going to lay off 1,000 people, right? We're going to let 1,000. And now I think that all of a sudden, right, we're going to see a lot more. Hey, we're letting 10,000, 11,000 people go. We'll have to watch and see. But I want to get to Bubba Horowitz, because this guy, like I said, this guy's no gold bug. He's a big commodities trader. He's good at what he does. He had some really interesting takes, and he kind of covered it all, from debt ceiling to digital currencies to government spending to interest rates, where Wall Street's going to be, where gold's going to be. So he covers a lot. Jack, let's play the first part of Bubba Horowitz.
No shortage of news items to go over with you. I want to get your take on, of course, the debt ceiling and President Joe Biden sounding so optimistic about the odds of reaching a deal with Republicans to raise or suspend the debt limit in time to avoid economic fallout from even a potential U.S. debt default. McCarthy not convinced. And why do I have a feeling neither is Todd Bubba Horowitz? What's your take?
My take is the same as always, Danny. This has been going on for so long. We go back years to Boehner and O'Neill, and all this has been, let's make the Americans nervous. There's going to be a default, so that when we tell them their taxes are going to be higher and they're going to have to pay taxes, that we're going to be able to get our paychecks, so we can certainly pass the cost on to the American public once again, because remember, government creates nothing but debt. So they will go ahead and raise the debt ceiling for no reason. And of course, instead of following some real fiscal responsibility, which is what the Republicans want them to do, even the Republicans will give in as always because, of course, it's their money too. And they also like fleecing the American taxpayer when they do this. So I would say that you could see potentially right up to the end date, the bottom line, where you can see a little bit of panic, and then they'll come out with we solved it. We were able to put this all together. And this has happened so many times that one day, hopefully, somebody will step up and say, shut the government down, let's reorganize, let's make them live on our true fiscal budget. But until then, this is what we got.
Well, you're absolutely right. Because how long have you and I known each other? And how many times have we had this discussion about the debt ceiling, and then there's panic, and then it gets resolved?
It's gone on.
So you don't think it's any different from times past? Because this time McCarthy's saying that the White House is really not taking this seriously. Biden's saying, no, I'm just an eternal optimist. Don't worry.
I think I think they create the environment and the shadows around only to come in on their white horse to solve the problem, to save the United States from default and a debt rating lowering, which does it really matter? We owe the most amount of money. What's going to happen? I mean, again, if you look at it from a logic standpoint, it's all a bunch of garbage.
I want to talk central bank digital currencies now because from our last interview, I got so many emails. People loved your thoughts on it. And of course, you basically said how concerned you are for humankind should central bank digital currencies roll out, which you are convinced they will be coming to a theater near you quicker than we all think. That said, I want to get your thoughts on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signing legislation over the weekend, basically keeping central bank digital currencies out of Florida. Is he a hero here for you?
I think he's a hero in general for everybody, and I think we need more to stand up to say that we can't allow the central banks, the Federal Reserve, to take over completely. They've already got more power than they need. I mean, theoretically, Jerome Powell would be the most powerful person in the world because he controls the money. And I think that we have to see states take a stand because if you look at the Constitution, government supposedly is supposed to be run city, county, state, and then the Fed is supposed to be an overseer, not the world's largest employer, not the world's largest thief of stealing our money. And I think what you've seen in Texas, you've seen a run for gold and silver as a new currency or as an old currency revisited. Missouri and a number of other states are talking about bringing back gold and silver as a currency. And I think Ron DeSantis is right on point here, is to say, no digital. Can he do it? That I don't know. But it's nice to hear him talk about it, and it's nice to hear some resistance to say that they're going to stand back these digitals.
Well, I had two very interesting conversations. One was with George Gammon of Rebel Capitals, who basically outlined that it would actually be illegal for the Federal Reserve to issue a central bank digital currency. Then I had other experts on agreeing, saying, yes, that's true. But as you know, the Federal Reserve can just, wave that away with a wand and do whatever they want. So any thoughts on that? Like, could it be really made illegal to issue central bank digital currencies here in this country?
Well, it is illegal. He is correct, 100%. However, if you look at what the Fed's original mandate is supposed to be, they are doing everything that is almost illegal. Okay, their job is to watch employment and that part of the economy, and to be there as a backstop, not to back banks when they go out of business, not to have too big to fail, not to print more money to help the government. Again, they're supposed to be a private organization, right? Of course, that's why they were named the Federal Reserve by the criminals who started the Fed, which is Warburg, Rothschilds, Morgan, and the Rockefellers. So again, we have a system here that is totally flawed and full of crap. Okay, we don't have the real thing. So they are breaking the law every day with everything they do. And this is, again, it just continues to get pushed by because the government ignores it because it helps them continue to violate the debt ceiling.
And I don't want to get too political, but on the subject of Ron DeSantis, I mean, I'm sure you caught the Trump town hall on CNN. Any thoughts about DeSantis's work in trying to convince the Republican Party
let's stop it right there,
that,
Jack. We're supposed to
he should
skip over that part of it. We'll pick that back up at I want to say at 8:15, Jack. But right now, when you hear what Bubba Horowitz says about the debt ceiling, when you hear what he says about, hey, they're going to play this little game, but the one thing he made clear, hey, we're going to pay more. Taxes are going up. And then he talked about the central bank digital currency. Obviously, yes, it's illegal, but hey, the whole thing's illegal. The whole system's illegal. But Jason, I think the biggest thing I took out of that was Bubba Horowitz was saying, look, the digital currency is coming a lot sooner than people think.
Yeah, and as far as the legalities of it, the Fed is a private company, so you'd have to argue, I guess, with the situation to be the way it is, if Bitcoin's allowed to exist as a private company, then the Fed's private coin would be is equally legal, I guess, Joe. The problem is that the Fed runs our monetary system for this country, the government. And that's why it's the Federal Reserve is illegal, and Bubba's completely correct. Everything they've done since they've been in operation is illegal. And if they want to have a digital currency, they will run it. I mean, the money, if you physically are holding the money, it has their name on it. It says Federal Reserve note. It's their money. It's not our money, their money, private money, Joe. And the entire world is using this private company's money. It's amazing that they're able to pull the wool over the eyes of the entire world to get them to use this stuff. And that digital currency is coming, Joe. Absolutely, it's coming. It's just a dream for them, so they can have more influence than ever before by having this thing in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something where, again, you're being warned. The taxes thing is coming. We've really, there's two things we've lived in that make it hard for a lot of people. Make it really hard. Because for the last 40 or 50 years, we've lived with, by and large, there's been some exceptions, but cutting taxes, right? The Reagan tax cuts for corporates, right? All of the other, let's face it, you can commit suicide by jumping off the IRS's tax code because there's so many loopholes to allow billionaires to not pay. But cutting taxes and exploding debt. So we've lived in fantasy here. And I think that's what Bubba Horowitz is trying to tell people. You better get ready. Now, we haven't even played, listen, after the break, we're going to play the rest of it. When he talks about interest rates, how are they done? Are they not done? He talks about stocks, and he doesn't just sit there and say, well, they're going to go lower, they're going to go higher. He puts a number on it. He's going to give us a number for the Dow. He's going to give us a number for the S&P. He's going to talk about gold. And Jason, I think this is a situation, most people have no clue. This is the first time in, almost 4 decades that the money supply has been contracted? People don't really understand what that means. The implications of what that means. This is a situation where we've raised rates by 500 basis points, and outside of the crazy 70s, if you will, and what I'll call the modern era of the Federal Reserve, Jason, this has never been done. And they've never have they cut rates and the money supply at the same time. That is what they would call, in normal economics, and I don't care if you went to Harvard or MIT or Stanford, that's called economic suicide.
Right, which is one reason I'm just waiting to see what they're actually going to do. About the time that everybody expects something to happen, that's usually when the surprise happens. So that's why I'm sheepishly waiting to see what's actually going to happen, because I think they're going to print money and keep the rates high minimally and maybe raise them even more. Maybe this pause is going to happen, and maybe later this year inflation still comes back, then what? They just raise it from there, right? I mean, there's no guarantees what's going to happen. The debt ceiling, he's convinced that they're going to lower it, or extend it and make it go up. One of these days,
of course,
Joe.
What did he say? He didn't think that's what they should do. He said that's what they're probably going to do, right? What he said was we should default. Absolutely. We owe the most amount of money in the world. We can't pay it off. We live in fiscally irresponsible times, but what they want to do, and again, remember, he says this is all just theater. They need to bring it down to the brink. Get all of the Americans that are paying attention, because let's face it, most Americans aren't even paying attention. But the ones that are paying attention, make them nervous because they already know the end result is we're going to raise taxes.
Well, Joe, I mean, let's think about it. I think the number one thing the Fed wants right now, their number one goal currently, I think, is to get that digital currency. And what if they create such a catastrophic situation economically, like a debt default, and your digital currency can be the hero to fix everything? I mean, I just think everything is on the table right now, Joe.
Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break.